Hey everyone, and welcome back. In this video, we're going to explore the mechanism for removing a president or other government officials from office, namely the impeachment process. Many countries have similar provisions establishing a way for the legislature to keep the executive's power in check. But in this video, we're going to focus on the impeachment process in the United States. That process is outlined in the U.S. Constitution. Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution establishes the grounds for impeachment, stating, "The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors." That last part, high crimes and misdemeanors, is particularly vague and has been the subject of much debate. The drafters of the Constitution borrowed the term from English common law, where it was used in parliamentary impeachments against a variety of public officials for a wide range of offenses. There, it included not just bribery, treason, and other crimes, but also non-criminal behavior deemed unacceptable for public officials, like misuse of public office for personal gain, obstruction of justice, abuse of power, or even breach of public trust. In the U.S. context, what constitutes high crimes and misdemeanors is ultimately a political question subject to the interpretation of the Congress. And if we look at the use of the phrase over time, its flexibility becomes apparent. President Bill Clinton, for example, was impeached by the House in 1998 on charges of perjury and obstruction of justice during an investigation into charges of sexual harassment and lying about an extramarital affair. President Donald Trump was twice impeached by the House. The first time in 2020, he was charged with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress for refusing to comply with congressional subpoenas, investigating accusations that he was using the office of the president to try to gather evidence against his political opponents. The second impeachment vote took place in 2021 and accused President Trump of inciting the January 6th insurrection. Finally, President Andrew Johnson was impeached by the House in 1868 on charges that he violated the Tenure of Office Act by removing certain federal office holders without the required consent of the Senate. But how does the impeachment process itself work? As outlined in Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution, the impeachment process begins in the House of Representatives, which typically begins when a member of the House introduces an impeachment resolution to the House, or the House passes a resolution authorizing an impeachment inquiry. Then, a committee, usually the House Judiciary Committee, investigates the allegations and, if they find sufficient grounds, drafts articles of impeachment. These articles are then voted on by the full House. If a simple majority of the House votes in favor of any article of impeachment, the official is impeached, and the process is referred to the Senate for trial. Under Article 1, Section 3 of the Constitution, responsibility for trying the accused falls to the Senate. Conviction by the Senate, and thus removal from office, requires a 2/3 majority vote of the Senate. The Senate may also disqualify the convicted individual from holding any federal office in the future. While the Senate cannot impose additional penalties, the Constitution does permit the impeached individual to face indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment in the regular court system according to law. The Constitution also provides that any impeachment trial of the president will be presided over by the Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. But beyond these basic provisions, the Constitution is quite vague on the question of impeachment. As I've previously mentioned, the concept of high crimes and misdemeanors is undefined, leaving considerable room for debate as to what actions might fall under this concept. Basic procedural questions are also not defined, leaving the Congress considerable latitude for defining the process itself. Is the accused guaranteed legal counsel? Who should serve as prosecuting or defense attorneys? A member of Congress, or a professional prosecutor, or someone else? The answers to these sorts of questions can have considerable impact not just on the process, but equally on the outcome. Nor does the Constitution provide the standard of proof required for conviction. Is conviction based on proof beyond a reasonable doubt, as is generally required in criminal cases? Or is it based on a preponderance of the evidence as normally required in civil cases? None of these details are laid out in the Constitution, and it's left to the Senate to decide how to conduct such trials. Indeed, the courts have generally held that impeachment is a political question not subject to judicial review. This means that politics becomes a key element of the process itself. But that's it for now. Please leave any questions you have in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.